Team Garage, Brent here. Petranaki SABINE. Is this better than Jetta City? Maybe. This came into clutch multiple times because a lot of units would try to trade into SABINE. And since she has 3 now, she would knock out a lot of things that would get ambushed in. Instead of living, they would be out of the game, but I would still... But typically, I would get 1 extra damage in each game, maybe 2. Sometimes that's just enough. And then if they trade on that second one, we actually trade. It always threw people off guard. Always. It's like that Varia quality, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, so to start off, we got 3 Wolf Pack. He's, very vulnerable unit with 1. So going into Cad Bane or a Bosk, this is just free for them, so probably would take those out sometimes. 3 Cartel Turncoats, just such an overstated card, and since we're allowing our opponent to draw more, decided to forego hand hate cards. 3 Crack Shot V-Wings. You typically want to play one of the other 2 units and then this one, so then you don't get that damage on. But sometimes just a 2-1 space is enough. Just that repetitive 2 damage over and over again, it just adds up. We got 2 R2s in here. He tends to stick around if you play him, and he's a rebel, and he helps you with your draws. I kind of just wish I had a third R2, but this is my third R2. And once in a while you can throw him into space for free. It's like an experience on there. Then we have 1 Spec Force Soldier, which is kind of odd because I almost always would run 3 and 1 actually felt fine. All right, so then for our 1s, these are all 1s by the way. So we have our 2 Heroic Sacrifice. It's a great push for game and you can draw for it. And then we got 2 Hot Shots. It's another push for game card because we actually have yellow, so it really makes a difference, and it's like extending our hand as well. So we have 2 Rebel Assaults. This is only for closing the game or take initiative to auto close the game. But if you do that, they typically have to take the initiative. This is just a great closer. Trench Run. This cannot be used on Wolf Fang Fighter. You have to use it. It's pretty much exclusively for the Cartel Turncoat. So now we're going to get into our 2 drops. We got 3 Squadron A-Wing, 2 Y-Wing. They didn't feel that great. It wouldn't go to base very often. Or it would be fired back at me with Grogu, which was not fun. SABINE WREN. I think we could swap one of these out for a SABINE WREN. There's a couple other ships that we can try. Yeah, I might increase SABINE right now because the Force isn't as prevalent right now, and Grogu is, and she is great at getting rid of Grogus. So then we have 2 Leia Organa, our honorary 1 drop, and also late game, just being able to exhaust a unit is so powerful. I stopped 17 damage, I think, over the tournament with Leia just from that, and I also cheated out 3 or 4 resources by readying, so pretty good card. So then we got our 3 breaking in. So the Saboteur is really important. That's why we also don't have as many of those soldier guys. And then we have 3 Surprise Strike. This is why we play yellow. Now we're in 3s. So we got 3 red 5s. Dealing damage to damage unit is difficult to pull off, but it has great stats otherwise. So that's why we're playing it. We could play Falcons. We could, there's a couple other things we could do instead of this, but this is what I ran, and the on attack felt terrible. Then we got 3 Fleet Lieutenants, of course, we're playing SABINE. And then we have 2 Cassian Andors. If I had 3, I would play 3, but we only have 2. We got 2 Wing Leaders. Again, we only have 2, so we're playing 2. And we have 1 Red 3, because I only have 1 Red 3. Just getting the raid 1. If he sticks around somehow, you just get like an extra 4 damage for free in this deck because you're going so wide. And then, so for our 4 drops, we have our 1 of K2. If I had more of these, I would play more of these. So then after, to close out the main deck, we have 2 Dark Sabers. Of course, if we have them, we're playing them. I played this for 6 one time and I still lost. Of course, you know. So for the side, I got 1 during raid. It's just kind of like a filler card. It's just more damage to base. Now we have 2 jam communications. This is great for late game actually, or for our SABINE flip turn into any kind of control, because we can play this, take out a removal card for SABINE, then we flip her, and then we can still have enough space to fleet our SABINE in. So this is pretty nice for that, because you get a little bit extra certainty. And then we have Spark of Rebellion. This is pretty good too. You can play this into 2 or 2 1-drops. You know, on that SABINE flip turn, you get to pick any card. I tried playing both of these in 1 turn on the 3 turn, and it was pretty much a game loss for me. So you want to use these just to make sure your SABINE gets through. It doesn't make sense to play this earlier. You want to play this later. So we have 3 outmaneuvers for space decks or ridiculous ground decks. This never happened for me, so that could have been anything else, you know. I got 3 Lux. So this was for the Han 2 deck, you know. I could have also used this against Piet, but Piet never had, it was only like 1 or 2 times where this could have procced ever. In the Han 2 matchup, I went through 2 of them like immediately. So he had to get rid of this, but having 2 defense is just so bad in that matchup because Grogu will just for free get him out of there. So, and we got 2 shiny ones. And yeah, that's what we're playing. So the plan for this deck is to always be playing 2 cards, and then for our resource, we're only going to get to 4. And it's very rare when we get to 5 resources. And if you're getting 6 resources, you're going to lose. And it's great because you actually get extra draw because of that. So you're always trying to mulligan your first hand, so you're always trying to get 2 1-drops on your turn 1. And then if you get any of your endgame finishing cards, so Trench Run, Rebel Assault, in your first hand, you always want to resource those. Right, so we go 6, now we're down to 4 cards. Right, so then we play our 2, you know, we'll play our 2 cards, you know, ping, and then next turn, we draw 2 more cards. And we're expecting to play 2 more cards, and then resource 1 card. So we have 1 card in hand, right? So then we're gonna draw 2 more, and then we will have the last 2 on that flip turn, right? So from here, we typically will stay at 4. So when we draw 2 more, this is what we're gonna be, you know, working with. We're gonna just play these 2, you know. And then, you know, you can do the 3 hot for the hot shot, and then 1 just to play a unit out. And hopefully that's enough to win the game. And then you always top deck these, you know, like you always top deck the stuff that you need. Like you can always expect to draw like a 1-drop. So like that's why I would like hold on to a fleet for that last card. And then I have 2 chances to get the 1-drops, you know. And then if you have a smuggle card, I pretty much always resource them. Like this and Cassian, I'll always put this down. And then just like Fleet Lieutenant, I would use Wing Leader, similar thing. You get 1 more attack power if you play Wing Leader, but then SABINE is then a little bit more vulnerable to upgrade hate. The key for this deck is you only get to once you get to 4 resources as fast as you can, so you can flip Sabine and attack base, because we have such a low curve that staying at 4 resources and they're at 8 resources, we'll have a full hand, and that's huge. Like a reason why going wide decks would suffer a bit. There's just not enough cards in hand. But if you just don't resource after this point, almost drawing a card every single turn on our opponent. And that's like a little key difference. Yeah, so that's the deck.
Subscribe for the vibes and see you in the next one.